On the enemy's shoulder was a bright ball as big as a punch. The rays were piercing and brilliant. Then on the left comes the second. On the top of the head comes the third. Seconds later, a line of 10 orbs of light surrounded him. Just like in the legend, about the circle of the gods. The enemy raised to arms. These bright spheres are rapidly moving. Facing forward, suddenly shoot out, turned into a long column of light. In front of you a blinding white light covers everything. The zombies touched the white light then. It didn't hit any obstacles and was pierced through a big hole. Each ray of light through the group of zombies. Zombies are like stickers shot to pieces. The enemy broke out with laughter. "Ha! I am the king of the battlefield." His ability is a special system explosive. Convert mental energy into canon energy. Has a very strong penetrating force. This kind of power is very powerful in the face of war. When the Dongan attacks, group exams are like being torn apart like shoes. Baklai, the captain laughed and touched his head. If we're talking about cutting grass, then his strength compared to the Wu enemy is really inferior. Group of zombies is almost impossible to form a hindrance. For the people. People keep moving forward. Finally, this powerful destructive power. It caught the attention of the king. There's 4 huge copper bodies at the end of the tunnel. They're about 4 meters in size. It's like a giant bamboo beetle. Waist height, small legs long. It's just a pity that, for this perfectly shaped human, when placed on them, they become monstrous. The enemy winked. This is what's called the SAO. I want to see how powerful it really is. He restores the bright spheres around him. The left hand slowly focuses on a white ring of light. However, the army stopped him. You should rest a little. The enemy's fecal guns, though powerful, it takes a lot of mental energy. In a way, that kind of power, if you use too much, it will cause damage. It cannot be cured for the user. The enemy obeyed the words of the soldiers. He recovered his powers. Then let you do it. Order troops, and everyone knows that. This type of armor is extremely powerful. It's not comparable to regular zombies. So they didn't ignore it either. The military in his heart chose one. He held up a black handgun in his hand and said, "Each one of you is an ass." The gunfire thundered. A bullet. That's the right shot in the eye. The armor was hit. Take a few steps back. This weapon, it's obviously not a normal handgun. That's King's only handgun. Armed border with unchanged face. Step by step towards the armor. Every bullet in his hand. They're all shot in the body. And push it back step by step. Biography of the Bar, Confucius born, and the Enlightenment has also chosen its own opponent. The school of medicine swung by the school of medicine. His knight directly rushed up and killed a fellow human. Giant green banging 2 powerful rights, his body. In the blink of an eye turned to black metal. Steel forging capacity so that he can hold the hardest body. The smallest color for every part of his body. They all become deadly weapons. I saw him shake one. You appear in the air. Thigh must be like an aggressive sword. To take on the role of a fellow. Clean a copper body that's been knocked to the ground. His shoulder was knocked open. It's a horrible hole that reveals the bones inside. Confucius was a little surprised, because he saw that Kier's bones were blood red. He uttered so hard. At this moment, a ray of light from beside him pierced through, appeared in the chest of the Kier. The enemy was immediately shot. It's a terrible wound. The flesh and blood is dirty. Confucius turned his head. I saw the Don holding a sniper rifle. Bizarre black. His direction revealed a smile. It still needs to be coordinated at this point. On the other side, the soldiers pressed their armor against the wall, then put a 6 in his mouth. From the inside of his mouth upwards, smashing his head off. The rest of his body fell to the ground. The blood is flowing out. 4 copper armor competition despite having strong fighting power. In front of the investigation team, they can only be considered appetizers. He put a hand on his head and suddenly said, "Zombie group has static." Monkey, he and his 6 friends wanted to run away. A large number of courtiers are encircling. The armed forces raised their sunglasses, with a voice as cold as ice. We can now conclude. The white monkey is the king. Zombie groups are stretching time. You have to catch it today. We absolutely can't let it run. The king holds a strong evolutionary power. Wisdom is also constantly evolving. If you let it run away this time, to know the capabilities of the armed border group, the next time you want to catch it, it's going to be harder. So the people didn't stop towards the fugitive king and chase him. But right now, group of zombies and rats living like crazy, like the tide coming from the end of the tunnel. B-Force does not want to delay time. Directly remove the sunglasses. Destruction capacity launched. Tunnel in the blink of an eye lit up a dazzling fluorescence. Right after that, more than 1,000 meters of tunnels have been cleared. This one life, thousands of zombies are directly wiped clean. Military party chest pain, unable to stitch over mouth intense con cough. However, his footsteps didn't stop chasing him. Time can't be delayed at all. People understand this too. So, they followed in the direction the king was fleeing. Along the way, there's also big, boring rats and test groups are planning to block the road, but they're all under arrest. School bar and Confucius born easily dismissed. At this point in time, outside the Yangtze base, the zombies are attacking the base. Suddenly seems to be getting some kind of signal. They stopped attacking. They're not dating, they're filming. Rush towards the tunnel. My whole body is burning, like a god of fire. However, her chest is panting. It shows that her fight is not easy. I saw a group of zombies and mice suddenly retreat. She's a little surprised. Here's what happened. She doesn't know that, at a time when they're fighting bravely, king of the underground, they're also at risk of death. At this point in time, the military and his team caught up. The king is fleeing. Between the test team and the investigation team, group exam is like a tattered cloth. It's easy to tear open a big hole. The whole small investigation team, as fast as lightning, he came near the king. This is also the first time they saw the white monkey. At such a close distance, the army told everyone it was. The king is protected by a huge copper body machine. A fellow archer. It's speeding towards the back of the subway. The armed men shouted a cry of capture. He raised his hand and held a black gun. Aim for the leg of the armor, carrying the white monkey. Its long little leg was hit by a white light. I can only hear the sound of my teeth, and it crumbles. Here's fellow student roared furiously for an hour, falling down to the ground, while the white monkey on its back let out a scream, spin and roll on the ground. At this point in time, the school of knights in the hands of the school of knights. Cow too, directly to his neck with a lance. The soldiers shouted for an hour. The white-haired monkey in his eyes was clearly afraid, then cowering on the ground without moving. The surrounding streets see that, afraid to attack. It can only be on one side. It makes a soft roar. He threatened the police chief and let it go. The ballerina stared at the white monkey with sharp eyes. Defined by him. It's impossible to escape. Him in the blink of an eye, you can make it go to Pluto. People just focus on the white monkey. For the Kier's fellow armor, as if not seen. The white-haired monkey silently gave the order. The basic group of competitors did not dare to move. The soldiers stared at the white monkey on the ground. Can't help but frown. This is the one that silently commands an entire zombie team. SAO. The enemy laughed casually. I thought that this toy can control a group of zombies. It's definitely very beneficial. It's so weak. The police chief soberly said no. It makes sense these days. If it could actually control countless zombies. So it's a zombie brain. Or something that controls the mutant system. That way it won't have its own fighting power. This also makes perfect sense. I can't blame myself for that. Whether you can control the giant zombie group, Kier. It's not easy for humans either. To launch a full-scale war. Because its essence is so small and weak. It is necessary to save a large number of zombies. The same armor. To protect its safety. With itself and its fighting power. Can be arbitrary. Even an adult can kill it. The roads around the city. Sometimes it makes a soft roar. May have lost the king's command. They obviously don't know what to do. The white-haired monkey in his eyes carries fear. In the throat makes a screeching sound. The ballerina held a gun to his head and said coldly, "Let them kill each other." The white monkey in his eyes flashed a round of hatred. The cry suddenly turned loud. After a moment, the next 6 animals got angry. Roar for an hour. Towards the people who rushed in. The white monkey was aware that I can't survive. Even if it falls into the hands of the person in front of me, it must also suffer enough pain. So this struggle doesn't have any effect. Polyschool bar spit. The knight's sword suddenly became powerful. Ha ha ha. He laughed out loud. There was a yellow light on the body, covering his whole body. Next, he's like a god of war. Run up to 6 horses alone. School mercantile huge horizontal sweeping. That's aggressive. Take 6 copper armor and cut it off. In the blink of an eye. Just one blow, they were wiped out by the school. I just saw bones flying low everywhere. This is the real power, the iron hand of the school. But it's not just the cohorts here. From a distance in the tunnel, transmitted to each battle the sound of zombies. Zombies are also summoned by the king. The soldier looked coldly at the gun. Are you not honest? He knows this toy can't live. If you don't kill it, after a while, they will be surrounded by zombies. who doesn't know either. How many zombies are there underground? The military did not dare to take risks, so he's determined to pull the trigger. A damage directly through the head of the white-haired monkey. His body is like that of a normal human. It's not specific. This one made a hole in his head. I took out a body bag from my backpack. Take the white monkey in. People quickly left the subway. Through the nearest exit, the subway to return to the ground. When they get to the ground, they saw an unimaginable sight. On the vast field of snow from all places, thousands of zombies are coming. However, at this time, they're looking at the subway. Standing dazed in the snow field, rigid and obscure actions that have lost their purpose. The army said there was no control of the king. These regular zombies won't show up either. Act VI Collective. Strongly dance nods. That's right, even if there's more of them. It is also difficult to pose a threat for the human force. Zombies have minds and zombies have no minds. It's two completely different kinds of organisms. The latter, though inconvenient, but solving them only takes a little time. Zombies have discovered their presence. There's a pink light in my eyes. Then roar and rush. The army said, let's go. There's no need to mess around with these toys. It doesn't take long for them to disappear on their own. The zombies lost control of the king. Can't last too long. They're the bacteria themselves. If you can't get your body to eat, they will quickly disappear. Soldiers, the military and his team aren't interested. Liquidation of the body, so they quickly left this place. They go back to where they parked before. The military and his team killed a group of zombies. Then bring the white monkey that they've collected on people to leave unscathed. Then, the job is to dissect the white monkey's body, to analyze its biological structure. Need to calculate based on what they harvest from its body, to find out the secret of the exam group, along with the method, kill type VI zombie cure. At least until now, they can identify one thing. This kind of creature exists everywhere in the city of Tianhai. Only if you know its origin, they can solve the problem at the root. In the car, Vu wears a white protective suit, is working on dissecting the white monkey. On the operating table, you have to speed up. Everyone's waiting for the results of their research. When the sun rises in the east on Monday, slowly step out of the car. When I saw that I had finished the car surgery, everyone is waiting for your conclusion. He looked at the captain of the army. She said the results of the analysis were there. This isn't a monkey or any kind of animal. It's a human being. Or maybe it used to be human. Vu's words surprised everyone a little. It seems unbelievable, but it makes sense. Even if it's a mutant, person or body, it's not all that strange in the world right now. The universe continues to speak. In its body contains large numbers VI withdrawn zombies. This type VI withdrawal, there's a very specific nature of the organism. The emperor can infect his corpse with the virus. It turns into a zombie. And then the template and the regular zombie contact each other through some method, so that it can lead the zombie pack. This method is very simple. The ability to transmit information is very small. That's why the zombie's original mode of combat It's all relatively simple. But the king himself has wisdom. Its head is kept intact. It's through learning for the zombie group's attack mode to evolve. Non-stop. It's not like regular zombies are hard to kill. It's like a normal person. If you kill his head, he'll die. The school couldn't help but speak up. That sounds no different than humans. The light is in a deep voice in theory. Just us. Kill all the emperors in the city of Tianhai. Is that we can solve the zombie threat this time, right? A strong dad's head. It's true from theory. Lost the king lead zombies. No matter how large the number, it's not going to be a big threat. This is a world of mutant people. If these zombies aren't commanded by the king, any one human force, it only takes a certain amount of time and resources. They can completely destroy them. The armed forces pushed up their sunglasses. After hearing the words of the strong four, he thought seriously in his mind for a long time. But there's still a problem that hasn't been clarified. If the city has more than one king, so where did the king originally come from? A king is a person or a body. So how did it initially infect the zombie virus? And people are looking at the powerful virus expert, violently shaking his head. This point is difficult to investigate clearly. Zombies are too big. Again, more restrictive conditions. It's extremely difficult to find the source. Maybe the king is just one type of zombie. Just like regular zombies. It was also created by the original king. And the purpose of its existence, just to take command of other zombies. The soldiers kept their faces as cold as ice. The Attorney General laughed and said, "Next, we have a strategy. But at least we know the good news. It was after destroying the king. The zombie problem will be solved, right? Mission this time doesn't seem as annoying as imagined. They're just a little too many." Enemy corn covers forehead. There are so many zombies to kill until it's done. If you can gather them in one place. Let me sing. It's good to kill with a channel gun. People can't help but laugh. It's not that simple. If it's really that easy, the General Department doesn't need to send us. At this moment, the soldiers suddenly opened their mouths. Put them in one place at a time. It's actually not a bad idea. People can't help but be a little surprised by that. The enemy smiled excitedly and said the leader, "Of course, you know, this is a great idea. Right?" The police chief frowned slightly. As SAO to do here? All over Tianhai City, zombies are scattered everywhere. Everywhere there is. Confucius said if we really gathered them all together. And the sheer number is hard to deal with. The armed forces embraced the arms. His face as cold as ice did not change. He said, soberly, "Zombie action by purpose. That is the attack the 5 great powers of the Tianhai city. Although it's not clear yet whether they're intentional or not. Zombies will chase humans. This is the obvious. So we are. Let's gather all the humanity of the Tianhai city. A place to attract all the zombies. Then we can destroy all the kings. In just one time. More like that? We can also test a little hypothesis. In my heart." Everyone was surprised to think. SAO hypothesis. These two words make people very curious. The enemy asked, "Chief, do you have any opinion?" The armed forces smiling with an indifferent face. Up to the present time, zombies in Tianhai City are small in scale and disperse around the city. For the most part, zombies are still concentrated in the Tianhai City area. This phenomenon is very inconsistent with common sense. If zombies are actually caused by viruses in their bodies, it's by biological instinct. They'll invade further. Even though SAO is only indigenous, there's not enough animals to feed them. So, why are they still in the city of Tianhai? And they're constantly attacking the big powers. Even where Zhang's hiding, he was also attacked by a zombie army. For a long time. The armed forces think deeply. I would love to consider. Is there a human factor behind this? No. Maybe the King of Heaven was deliberately created by that AI. If it exists, then we must destroy that underground force. Because Wu's group of frontline troops beat a king to death. Directly make the zombies around the base flourish. They lost command. Turn into animals. They only act instinctively. Zombies have fled to the Yangtze base during the day. In the beginning make people are planning to rest at the Yangtze base. Startled cry out. However, after a battle, they were surprised to find that these zombies have greatly reduced their combat power. They no longer know how to avoid the pitfalls of the iron grid. Just see the people in front. They'll move forward without thinking. Even though soldiers held flamethrowers, they don't know how to hide. And a large number of them were burned to death. This makes the human side cheer endlessly. Family Sandbar excited. Report this news for Red Pepper training. Red Pepper frowned and relaxed. She uttered, "Really? You go to the front lines, look at zombies in front of the eyes despite the large number, but has completely lost order as before. You can't help but sigh softly in your heart. Even though I don't know what happened. But in the end, it's good news." The Sand family said, "What does this have to do with the investigation team from Jiangnan Great Zone?" Think about the members of the investigation team. It's a terrifying force. Expression looks serious. May be related. Red training with family. The Sands all have fluttering eyes. Can't hide. This is the strength of the Jiangnam Great Zone, SAO. Only 7 people on the team. But as soon as I arrived in the city of Tianhai on the first day, they've solved a big problem. They are more and more afraid of the south. The early sun don't shine down on the headquarters of the Snow Church. Last night, a fierce battle took place. And a lot of people died in this war. However, due to the large number of mutants of the Snowspear, experienced dealing with zombies before, the number of deaths has decreased. After the meeting between Zheng Yat, Sen, and the Wu army, they went back to headquarters and start reorganizing combat units. They changed their fighting position to the underground parking lot and use multiple methods to destroy the main gate, leaving behind only items capable of fighting. Outside, they are responsible for keeping everyone safe. Busy shelves all day. And now, they still have to quickly clear the battlefield. The body needs to be cleaned and moved to an abandoned skyscraper nearby to handle. If not, people who have just died can turn into new zombies. Some even collected 10 bodies of animals. This is a rare source of fresh meat. In Section 6, the sword has a certain status as a priest. He has received precious protection. However, Yesterday's battle was too intense. He and his family were separated. Now he and his wife are in the neighborhood. I'm looking for my son. The enemy is worried. Where did the music kid run off to? He looked around and said, in the current chaotic situation, why doesn't it listen to us? Surrounded by dead people, she feared that her son had also lost his life. On the battlefield, they had a chance to escape last night. But the musician was upset about his little girlfriend and ignored Zhang's protests. To find you. So far, they have not seen the shadow of Li Kai music and his girlfriend. From bumper to bumper. The sword is also worried. He asked about his son on the battlefield. But they only came to the snows not long ago. And I don't know many people. No one cares about the fate of his son. A couple can only go around calling out their son's name. But when the sword comes to the ruins of the castle, the sight in front of him made him freeze. The cold LAN radiated from head to toe. Under the darkness of the rubble, music is lying on the ground, body full of red fluid. The lower part of the body is soaked in dark red fluid. In front of him is the snow. You don't have a sharp knife in your hand. Calm down and look at him. The sword is empty. Like just a moment later, your love and the instinct to be a father make him shout music and rush towards the two. The rain is still staring at the music, eyes full of madness. You don't turn around. Just raise your left hand towards the sword. Sound an hour. The sword felt. It's like I've just been hit by a truck. Body fly backward away 5 feet and hit the ground. The wind is running too. I saw my husband fall to the ground and the son faced the horrific scene. Her face turned pale with fear. It's disgusting. You don't pretend to look at the music. You need to be purified. Everything that happens in front of you makes the couple feel good. I feel so desperate. They don't understand why that holy cardinal. I want to hurt my child again. As right at this moment, the shadow of the Buddha first appeared. He looked at the situation at the scene. Just raise your eyebrows and move forward. Pass to husband and wife, rational sword. His body is tall. More than a head. To see the writhing expression of danger, he opened up his big coat and pulled the danger out of your heart. Even if the body is still stiff. But her crazy eyes seems to have softened somewhat. He whispered in the master teacher's hand. She spoke slowly in a cold voice. This sin cannot be forgiven. We are helping him. Trin Tuiet Tian continued. I know, you're not wrong. Zheng startled him so that he could not hold the knife. Bloody and take you away. The sword and Zhang Jianfang could only stand by and watch. They leave. They feel angry and scared. Like I don't have time to think about it. Rush to check on your child's condition. When they come next to the music, they found out he was unconscious, face as white as paper. His lower body was covered in red, while the upper part doesn't have a fatal wound. The color of the sword in the blink of an eye became extremely unsightly. He thought about the purification ritual of the snows, where many of the boys who joined had to go through. In front of him was relying on his aptitude to serve his sermon. I believe my son can escape this fate. But he did not expect that fateful day to come. There is infinite sadness in both of you. The only good news is, the music is still alive. He did not complete the surgery for him. Don't forget to use your power to stop the bleeding. But when the music woke up, how he will also face it, with changes in his body. In the moment, Zhang Onfang saw a shaky figure, not far in the dark. From the dust of Li Kai's girlfriend, music shrinks fear. Hugging my knees and trembling endlessly. To see think about your son coming out to protect you. They bite their teeth and ask for help. What's this all about? Why was my son treated this way by the cardinal? Is it because of you? From the dust weeping,